Systems Walsh, Chapter 23, Family Policies, Dilemmas, Controversies, and Opportunities. This is the final chapter of this book. Again, I want to thank you for being part of the class and doing this with us in our practice. I hope this class has been helpful to you to understand different assessment processes, conflicts that afflict couples and families, and better treatment protocols and policies, procedures for you to use. I hope it has helped you clarify appropriate interventions, treatment planning, goal setting, and your theoretical orientation, and an integrated blending of theoretical orientation to work with families. In my view, Adlerian, structural, some strategic Bowenian, multisystemic family therapy is the best approach from a developmental, cultural, contextual viewpoint. So Ann Hartman looks at just family policies and how our changes, our values, and ideological issues that have divided us are different. What is family policies? How are they defined? How is a family defined? How are relationships defined? How responsible is government for the welfare of its people? Families are defined according to most clinical definitions as a group of people who live together, who are connected, bonded to each other, and consider themselves to be bonded either by blood or just by commitment level. What is the boundary between the state and the family? Family inviolability. How do you protect families' right to inviolability with their protection of children and family violence and child abuse, neglect, battered wives, domestic violence issues? How do we intrude on that? The marriage movement. Does the state, the federal government, have the right to determine who is married? What is a single parent family? What is a cohabitational family, an adoptive, foster, fictive family, same-sex family? And who gets benefits, tax breaks, welfare breaks? Who gets hired? How do we understand our families? Who is invited to the cultural table? Who's invited to the spiritual aspects of the churches and other types of things? How do we deinstitutionalize our health and mental health care, our medical health care, our service provision? Do we offer those things to families who are not blood related, who have not made a legal bond to each other? With economic security, with job security, with unemployment issues, with forcing employers to offer educational benefits and insurance benefits and welfare reform, and how do we fund DFACS in the Department of Juvenile Justice and the school systems and other community resources? What do we do? What are our findings with welfare reform? That marriage is the foundation of a successful society. It's an essential institution, and promotion of responsible parenthood is integral to successful child rearing, well-being of children, that gives us new adults who can contribute in a meaningful way to our society. What has been the impact of welfare reform? Who's paid the price? Are vulnerable children going hungry to deal with the issues of illegitimacy bonuses of families who continue to have children outside of wedlock to gain more welfare? Is that a thought? Is that a realistic thought? Is that a viable thought? We have to determine these things as a community, as a society, as individuals, as clinicians, and we have to help our clients understand this. Who pays for Social Security? Who pays for welfare? Is it necessary? Do we want our more vulnerable people and populations that are dependent and that have no voice and no advocacy? Where do we stand in social justice and social advocacy for dependent and vulnerable populations? What about the workplace? Our child care policies, do we fund that? What are our politics around that? How do we govern our people who provide daycare and child care? Are there provisions for safe child care? Our health care policies, the politics of our health care. Do we have reproductive rights? Do we have the right to assist reproduction or to assist abortion? When does a fetus become a child? When is a child a child? When does a soul, a life become? All of these issues. What do we do with statutory rape with abortion? What do we do with faith system with abortion? We have to determine when we are going to make these decisions and how these decisions are formulated for ourselves and for the families, and help families determine how they formulate answers to these very difficult issues. A lot of work to be done, a lot of research to be done. So looking forward to your opinions in your discussion post. Thank you again.